Hello, friends. Welcome. Say hello, happy home. I'm happy to be here with you today on this Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026. So, a couple of days ago, New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill, I think it's Mickey, announced that they had discovered a technical problem, anomaly, glitch, oopsie, in their DMV computer databases that allowed thousands of people who were non-citizens who were at the DMV applying for identification cards to be placed on the voter rolls for everything from their local school superintendent to the presidential elections. And this went on 2021 to 2024. She was quick to say that it happened under the previous administration, not hers, and that their DMV is supposedly, when somebody checks the box citizen or non-citizen and they put non-citizen, that it's supposed to funnel their information to a different database as opposed to a citizen, where if you are of voting age or whatever, that your information, your ID, would be funneled to another database where you would be automatically put on the voter rolls and you would be issued cards and whatnot. Now, what I want to know is, so far they found 6,600 people on the New Jersey voter rolls who they actually discovered that many of these people did in fact vote in everything from their local superintendent to the presidential election. Now, I don't know if it would be appropriate to find out who they voted for, and I don't think it really matters. What matters is that they did vote, and that speaks to the level of morality of an individual who knows enough to know that they can't lie, cheat, and steal their way into getting an ID by pretending or lying on the application saying that they're a citizen when they're not, because you got to prove that you're a citizen if you put you're a citizen. And I just got my license renewed after getting married earlier this year, and I had to provide birth certificate. I had to provide past marriage license and divorce decree with the order actually highlighted where it said that my name had changed from one to the other and back again. And I'm a born and raised U.S. citizen. I was born here and raised here. So they can't get away with saying they are a citizen when they're not if they're applying for an ID. You don't get that option. So what I want to know is, locate these individuals, and if they're not legal citizens, can they be deported? Can they be held accountable? Because if they knew enough to know that they couldn't cheat the system to get an ID by saying they're a citizen, they knew enough not to vote. And for those that knew enough not to vote and didn't vote, I'm happy, and you should be commended for understanding and knowing that it wouldn't be truthful. But those that did, why? Were their votes influenced? Were their votes bought? Did this computer glitch originate from one particular department, one particular IT individual? Was it deliberate? I know everybody is tired of hearing about election fraud. Trump lost in 2020, he won in 2024. But one of his promises, his campaign promises for this second term, was to root out voter fraud and election fraud and make our system what is constitutionally required, which is free and fair elections. And free, not as you got to pay a cover charge, you have to buy a ticket to vote, Free as in you are free to vote for whoever you want without repercussions, unmolested, unthreatened, uncoerced, not bribed. And that you have that right. That's what the free means. And it is constitutionally mandated. So, election interference. Was this, if it comes down to they find out that it was a deliberate setup by someone in an IT department somewhere down the chain from the New Jersey DMV down to the voter rolls. Why? Who is this person? Why would they do that? What was their end game? Obviously, it didn't work. I mean, we know that Kamala Harris won New Jersey, but it still didn't give her the White House. So that's not the point of getting to the bottom of this. The point of getting to the bottom of this is that it's continuing today until these fraudulent acts are being exposed and stopped. They're still ongoing, and it needs to stop. So, as weary as we all might be of election interference and fraud, and we're just tired of hearing about it, the amount of unconstitutional, illegal influence over our elections by other nations and by our own governments, state and local and otherwise, that's just appalling. And I'm glad that Mikie Sherrill did the right thing by announcing this publicly and deciding to do the grown-up thing and work toward rooting out the fraud and not trying to hide and cover up. Because, some of these blue states have been refusing to turn their voter rolls over to the feds. I don't know if it's sincerely because they want to get a handle on it themselves, or they're hiding something. The Trump administration's always going to go toward the most paranoid. I'm kind of pessimistic myself that it has to do with, they're hiding something. And most often I'm sure that they are. But in this particular case, a Democrat governor in a blue state decided to do the right thing and announce that, yes, we did indeed find fraud. We found something. They're not saying it's fraud because they can't verify that yet. This is fairly new information. But I want to know the people that deliberately voted. Did they do so knowing that what they were doing was illegal? And if so, why? Were they influenced, bought, and paid for, threatened, coerced? Was it a setup? Did somebody in the DMV say, well, if you go in there, get an ID at this DMV, I'll see to it that you get on the voter rolls. And even though you're not eligible for an ID, maybe they got a criminal record or something like that, their ID's expired. We'll let you have an ID, but we're going to put you on the voter rolls. You vote for this person, and we'll let that ID go through. So it's going to be interesting in the coming months to see what they dig up with regard to this voter registration issue that's happening in New Jersey. I'm real curious about it. And until next time, do good and be good.